Okay, everybody, we are in the week of Easter, the octave of Easter, and it's the third week of distance learning. So greetings to everybody.
Hi, everybody. And Michael and I decided that we were going to spend some time here making a video related to St. Agnes's rather unique approach to distance learning. And Michael and I had a number of points that we wanted to make that relate to St. Agnes's philosophy of education and the way in which we've been fairly intentional as to how we're going to approach this. And so,
Absolutely.
Michael, I'd love your initial thoughts on how we've chosen to go the direction that we have.
Well, before we do that, Dr. Ferdinand, how was your Easter? Did you have a good Easter with your family?
Terrific Easter. I got the chance to sing with my wife playing the organ at Mass and receive communion that day. I'm not rubbing that in.
That's great. That's great.
Simply expressing a deep love for the Eucharist that I was really grateful for.
That's great. Yeah, we watched Mass at Saint Agnes Facebook Live, and then I actually came to the noon Mass. So Father Moriarty had an outdoor Mass on the high steps of the church. Did you see the pictures from that?
I saw pictures.
It was pretty incredible. So a blessed Easter to everybody. So to your question, how did we start off on this? Well, we provided to families a statement, a philosophy of distance learning, and we based that on our school's philosophy of education, which is available on our website, our school's philosophy of education. And there's three pillars to that: faith, reason, and virtue. And so we wanted to continue our model of education, our liberal arts model of education, continue that, as well as in the spirit of the philosophy of education, approach distance learning. And our approach at St. Agnes is to leverage technology as a tool for education, not as a driver, not as what drives the content in our approach.
In addition, one of the things I know that you and Carl especially were having in the backs of your minds was just the ways in which our myriad of families and their various sizes were going to be able to manage this at home. You know, so many of our families have limited numbers of computers. That is intentional on their part. They don't want their kids spending incredible amounts of time in front of screens. In addition, there's a way in which we're serving multiple families who have many children in their homes. I did a little math today on this front.
Yeah.
We have, of our 435 families at Saint Agnes School, 112 of them have 3 or more children.
Yeah.
That's over a quarter of our families that have 3 or more children. And if their parents are at home, working from home as well, we knew that there would be challenges potentially with computer access. We knew that there would be challenges with the number of devices that they would have and potentially with the bandwidth. I know for my own family, I come into work each day because our bandwidth is so pathetic. We get 3 megs, and with our 5 kids and my wife doing the work, it's a challenge for some of our families. And I know that was part of the reason for choosing as you did. Do you want to make another comment or two?
Yeah. We've actually even had the opportunity to share some of our older machines that we're turning over with families to help those out who need multiple machines or don't have machines at home. And so, initially we in our first week had a survey for the upper school and the lower school, and based on that feedback, we found it was generally pretty positive, and that families felt like we were providing a lot of content, a lot of videos, and based on that, we didn't get a sense that we needed to provide more videos. You know, some families really enjoyed the videos because they love that connection between their kids and their teachers. But we also heard a lot about how videos can be overwhelming if there's too many of them, because again, like you're saying, you have multiple children at home on computers, you have parents working from home, and then the Wi-Fi bandwidth, it's limiting. But then you also have some questions about different approaches out there. You do have some schools that are requiring students to be logged in online live for certain periods of time during the day, and And just knowing our families and speaking to a number of them about that, we felt like that would be kind of punishing to our families and the different backgrounds and approaches and their own philosophies about young people, and screen time. We could talk a little bit about screen time too, if you like.
Yeah. As I've been thinking about our approach here, I've been really pleased with how we've been able to manage the families, especially with multiple children. And I know that those folks have the hardest time just doing all of the different things that it takes, especially if one or both parents are trying to work from home. And so it's been a hallmark of St. Agnes for a number of years that we really do want to serve families, and families from various socioeconomic backgrounds. And I know that there are some of our families that don't have the resources even. And as you said, we've been providing some computers for those folks, and I'm so grateful that we've been able to do that, because those machines have been a gift to us, and we're happy to help other folks with them.
Yeah, and then, in addition to multiple kids at home, you have, I think you've alluded to this already, the phenomenon of parents working at home and everyone competing for those devices. But in addition to that, the availability of parents, parents, if they're both working and have opposite schedules, what time of the day they can help their child, as well as a single parent family. When do they, if they're able to go to work right now, how are they supposed to help their child who's in, first grade or second grade, if they were to be logged in live between 10 and noon? Well, if they're at work, they're not able to support their child's education. And can you imagine kindergartners on Zoom, or a second grader on Zoom, and then 25 second graders on Zoom, working with a teacher? There's just some complications there where if parents aren't available, they're working, or some of the other things we've said, that provides a real challenge to some of our families.
We've been receiving some wonderful feedback from our families, both via email and via some of our surveys, and we've been making some adjustments based on some of those things.
Yeah.
I think it'd be helpful to say a little bit about what some of those adjustments have been, especially given the fact that as a school, we are really about a classical liberal arts approach to education. That's our model. And it's content rich, which means that we want kids to have independent reading skills. We need them to have some shared inquiry. And we know, therefore, that this whole approach to distance learning is a temporary approach. We do not believe in this as a long-term strategy for our school. And I think that it's been important for us to realize, look, the best approach is based on the research that says that the most important part, or the most important factor in a child's education in terms of the quality of their education, is the classroom teacher. We have hired some extraordinary teachers over the years. God has sent us some terrific people. We're so grateful for them. But the truth of the matter is, they didn't get into teaching to make videos. They got into teaching because they love kids, and so many of them have commented to me as I've called them, have commented to me and said, "Oh, Kevin, can we get back to school soon? We love the kids. We want to be with the kids." And I've had to reassure some faculty members, look, we know that we want to get back as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And it's partially because they got an education to love kids, to be with kids, to teach them things.
Yeah.
And that's the most important factor in education. So we know that distance learning is temporary, but we've had to make some adjustments in the midst of all that. Feel free to comment on that.
Yeah. First, like you said, we didn't get into this field because we're narcissists and we love making videos of ourselves. So those families who are in the lower school particularly, I apologize. My voice, I've had to hear my voice on videos every day. It's like, oh my gosh, that's what I sound like, my poor wife and children. But let me say one thing. I want to say a few things in response to that. One is, St. Agnes is not an anti-technology school, not at all. We have spent a lot of money and invested a lot in our technology infrastructure. And in fact, this coming summer, we are upgrading almost all of our machines yet again. in addition to upgrading our science labs. And so technology is extremely important, and we leverage that in every single classroom in this building, smart boards or whatever brand, projectors, brand new PCs, and then our platform on Office 365, office.com, and all the tools available there. So it's important to note that we value the use of technology, but back to the liberal arts approach, I just want to underscore that the liberal arts or classical model requires and underscores the importance of human interaction. And that comes in a number of ways. It comes in dialectic between teachers and students. It comes in lecture format. It comes in group work. And it comes in Socratic seminars or shared inquiry like we use in the elementary. And so that is extremely important, like you were saying. The child's teacher and their interaction with each other in the classroom is what is leveraged, is most important. But that doesn't mean we're against technology. So I want to be clear on that. As far as the surveys, we've really appreciated the interaction and involvement of our families in providing feedback to the surveys, because we have adjusted on a number of fronts. Number one, at least on the lower school side, was just how we format our teachers' pages. The parents have really provided great insight on how to keep it simple, keep things to bullet points where we can, how we organize buttons. Another one is clarifying in the lower school how we differentiate between the essential required work and then optional enrichment work. And so how we've done that and laid that out each week. Third is, for us, we have weekly work plans and then how we organize them. Instead of having paragraph descriptions, having those in a table or a box format, laying it all out, days of the week, subjects, and what's required each day. And so that's been really helpful. And then we've also gotten some recent feedback on parents wanting a little bit more direct instruction and videos in regard to mathematics. And so we're going to be starting to provide that soon too. So the parent feedback, we really do appreciate it. We want to hear from you. And maybe you want to say something about gaining more feedback from families coming down the road.
Yeah, just be aware that if you want to provide individual feedback, feel free to email or call. Michael Adkins, Carla Hendrickson, and I are working either in office or from home. I'm in office most of the week, and so are the two of them, and so I'm grateful for that. But know that we will be periodically surveying again. I hope not too many more times, because that means that we're going to be doing distance learning for a while longer. But and just so that I'm clear for the record as well, I really want us to be back in school in May. I know that some of you may feel perhaps a little like that's dangerous or perhaps even reckless. I don't see it that way. We'd only do it in a way that would be safe. I really want our seniors to come back. I want them to graduate. And so we really do value our families and our kids. We want them back. Our faculty wants them back. Our faculty wants to be back. Our faculty wants their kids back, me included. I want my kids back sitting with these teachers as soon as possible.
Yeah.
So feel free to keep praying on this front. I'd love your prayers. Let's storm heaven for a chance to be back in action safely.
Yeah.
Of course, we emphasize that.
Yeah. One of the things that my wife Cynthia and I have really been reflecting on is the value of that third-party adult, their teachers and the role of their teachers in their lives as these credible witnesses to faith, reason, and virtue. And it's been emphasized to us that we can try to teach and model things to our kids, but having them in the presence of these incredible people on the faculty, and then the message that we give them at home being supported here, our kids are really missing that, and we're seeing that as well. We're seeing how the students miss each other, miss their teachers, that witness, and so it's just been a reminder for us, that the teachers are such a great, important part of their lives. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, so let's conclude with our sincerest Easter greetings. Continue to enjoy your octave. Celebrate it as if it were continuing to be Easter Sunday. It's one long Easter Sunday, day after day.
Yeah,
here.
absolutely.
And, blessings to your
Yeah.
families.
Yeah, absolutely. God bless you all. Happy Easter to you.